Dear friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's read. I'm extremely sorry and apologize for uploading part 2 so long. Uploading part 2 of the story Snehband from the timeless collection of Malti Joshi. As soon as she saw my face, she swung on my neck. I caught you. You people must have thought if you keep silence, you can escape easily. It will not happen. Papa, keep 3 or 4 new notes ready for today. We have fixed everything. But how did you come to know, beta? We couldn't even remember, he asked happily. I was turning Dhruv's diary pages today when I read this. I have scolded him so much. How can he forget such an important thing? But where's Dhruv? I asked. Oh, Dhruv has gone to pick Shiv from the college. When we have taken a half day, so how can we let him study? There will be a lot of fun and enjoyment today. After a while, they both also came. Then together, all three performed the arti of both of us, touched our feet, and also gave gifts to us, a pure silk sari for me and a pullover for their father. At the same time, both the things had to be inaugurated. Then color photographs were taken at home with the camera gifted from America. Then everyone went to the famous studio for a group photo. Meeta was dressed as a traditional daughter-in-law and was standing behind me covering her head. Shiv was continuously teasing her. We saw the first show of Angur, then ate dinner at Blue Diamond. It was 11 o'clock in the night when we returned home after eating quality ice cream and pan at Panarsi Panwala's place. I was very tired, but how sweet this tiredness was. Oh God, I am so tired. These people really created a ruckus. Now, we are not so much young for all these celebrations and ruckus, I said laughing at night. But my husband is sitting silently and staring at me with fiery eyes. What happened? What happened? That girl, she dies saying Mama, and you? Why? What have I done? I said annoyingly. The happiness in my mind started to evaporate. Why do you ask me? Ask yourself what you haven't done. That poor girl is without a mother. What should I do if she is without a mother? In the evening, a fountain of motherly love had broken. It had now started freezing. If she is without mother, then what should I do? Tell me. Should I walk around her carrying in my lap or should I sing a lullaby for her? He did not answer and turned to his side and lay down. I got so angry. This is a good way. If you do not wish to answer, then end the talk. It's a strange problem, I mumbled. All day long there is a turmoil going on in the house. Even elders and youngsters are not taken care of. I'm not at peace. People get so much love for a new girl. Your own daughter visits in 6 months and she never gets any pampering? Pampering? What? And how should I pamper her? She's a daughter brought up under your discipline. Has she ever spoken to me openly till today? Now it was my turn to remain silent. In the first week of January, Dhruv was suddenly ordered to go to Germany for 6 months of training. A wave of joy ran through the house. Only he was selected among so many people. Our hearts were filled with pride. The preparations started in full swing and my heart started pounding. The boy was going this far away for the first time, and then leaving behind the newly-wed daughter-in-law. Beta, why don't you take Meetu along with you? She will also get a chance to visit, said Dhruv's father. But Meeta opposed this proposal. She said, What is the use of throwing away money uselessly, Papaji? The company will be paying the expenses of Dhruv. I have to bear the expenses of my own. Someday our turn will also come. Right, Shiv? She tried her best to be as cheerful as ever, but at times her face would turn very sad. It was natural, but I was worried. After all, I said to Dhruv one day, Beta, how about Meeta staying with her father till the time you come back? Ma, she can stay anywhere. It's just a matter of 6 months. It will pass in the blink of an eye. And if all goes well, I will call her for 15-20 days when I return, and we can roam around. He had finished talking, but my concern remained the same. Their father was not well these days. If she remains sad here, then he will directly link this with me, and that's what was scaring me. Shiv and Meeta went to Bombay to drop him. After returning, Meeta went to her father's place. Her bhabhi was blessed with a boy. Then, after a month, when her bhabhi went to her house, she wanted to stay there to take care of the house. So we also did not objected. The house was completely deserted. Children's father was missing Meeta more than Dhruv. He would reach Sambhiyane every fourth or eighth day. Sometimes he would drag me along too. Then Samdhiji would smile and say, "How do you come running for your children? You never care to ask about my well being." Shiv also often returned home late. Sometimes he had to go shopping with his bhabhi, or sometimes he had to show her a movie. Sometimes she would also come to the house, but she does not lash out like the previous storm, laughing and giggling, but she did not have the same vitality as before. When she would leave, he would say, "Told you to go along, didn't I? Then you didn't listen. You kept looking at the face of money. And see, you are missing Dhruv terribly." It must have been the last week of March. One night, there was severe pain in his stomach. I don't know how long he was suffering. When I suddenly woke up, I saw he was sitting clutching on his stomach. His face has turned white. "What happened?" I panicked and asked, "Is the stomach hurting?" He didn't answer. I got up, heated the water, wrapped asafoetida nugget in a cotton and burnt it. I came back with ajwain, black salt, hing, and hot water in the plate. Oh God, that's not the problem. I haven't been to the bathroom since noon. "Oh, and you are telling me now?" I kept looking at him with teary eyes. Shiv was having his papers. He may have just slept after studying, but he had to be woken up. That night he ran and called Dr. Shukla. He inspected and asked, "How long have you been in this trouble?" "Oh, it was hurting a little since 15-20 days. I was annoyed so much. What was the point of being silent for so long?" Shiv said, "Ma, this is not the time to be angry. Deal with it later. Take care of him first." Somehow that night passed. He had to be admitted in the morning. There was a complaint of prostate. The operation was necessary. He has already given his orders. I will not go to private nursing home. I will not take private ward even in government hospital. I will stay in general. And there is a great need for nursing after this operation. No one even peeps into the private ward. You have to call them 10 times. There was no way to disobey him. He had the key to the treasure with him. If Dhruv had been here, it would have been a different matter. But now, there was no point in calling him from such a distance. One night spent in the general ward. Oh God, I will remember it for the whole life. There was no question of him falling asleep in that condition. But the surrounding environment made the mind so cumbersome that when I woke up in the morning, I felt sick. And if you still remember the foul smell, thorns could grow on your mind. In the morning, Shiv had brought tea from somewhere, but I could not even take a sip down from my throat. The operation was to take place at 10 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, they took him away by putting him on the stretcher. Me and Shiv also followed behind, went as far as we could. Then I sat there and started chanting the God. Poor Shiv, he got busy in running around. "Namaste, Bhabiji." I was shocked to see Meeta's father was standing in front. "You didn't even inform us? Have you become so outsider?" There was anger and complaint in his voice. And what should I answer? Meetu had just gone home for some work. Then the neighbor, Mehta Sahib, told. "Everything happened so suddenly," I said in a guilty voice. Poor Shiv was left completely alone. All the running was his responsibility. That's what I am saying. Why does he need to run all alone? What are we for? And what will Dhruv say tomorrow if he hears it? I was so annoyed on my husband. He was in so much pain, but he could not let the grip of his wallet loose. He will stay in general ward. Oh, nursing is good here. Now, how you feel it if I take such a big man to that hell? In that worry, I could not even remember to ask where was Mita. At 11:30, he was brought to the room near the theater and kept. Seeing such a tough, laughing person in such a helpless state made me cry. Mita's brother Naresh took me out with support and made me sit back on the bench. I sat there helplessly. After 2 hours, he was allowed to be taken to the ward. These 2 hours had become 2 eras for me. While returning to the ward, the convoy was a bit big. There were family members and also the staff. A lot of vials were carrying on the stretcher and everyone was carrying him. Ma, you come up from the stairs. You'll have trouble in the elevator, Shiv said, and then I turned towards the stairs. By the time I reached upstairs, I was panting heavily. The stretcher was probably in the ward, as he was nowhere to be found outside in the corridor. I had reached the ward when Naresh ji's voice came. Maji, come here. Following him, I reached the end of the corridor. The door of the deluxe room opened and people came out carrying the empty stretcher. This room? I said in an astonished voice. Bhabhi has booked this room, Ma. On understanding my confusion, Shiv came near and whispered. Only she could get this done, her father was proudly saying. She went into a big fight with the superintendent, got the room allotted while standing. This girl is a real fighter. I looked at Mita. She was standing quietly near his bed. She doesn't even pick up a straw at home, said her brother. Since the time she is here, she is completely busy in cleaning the room. She made 3 trips to the home. These are the formulas to impress your mother-in-law, Samdiji said in a loving voice. The room was really glowing. Clean sheets and pillows were kept on both the beds. There was a white tablecloth on the table. Papers were lying in the cupboard. Both our clothes were folded in it. Tea, sugar, cups, plates, matches. She had not forgotten anything. Buckets, mugs, towel, chalky in the bathroom were all arranged in an orderly fashion. After a while, the wheezing of the stove started. Mita was making tea. Ma, have some tea. After a while, she was standing in front of me. It was the first time she had spoken since we entered the room, and her tone was extremely flat. Tea? Here? I picked up a silly joke. Then where will you like to drink, Ma? Will you go home leaving Papa in this condition? There was logic in her words, but even more weighty was her voice. I silently took the cup and sipped the tea. Everyone felt relieved as soon as I took my tea, because everyone was tired. I had picked up the cup with great care, but to be honest, after drinking it, I felt really light. Around 5 o'clock, he regained consciousness. Mita was sitting next to him. Seeing him, even in such pain, he smiled a little. Then I realized that this torture must have been really gruesome. Otherwise, he could not have remembered his dear daughter-in-law once before the operation. Papa, you and Bhaiya should now leave, ordered Mita. At night, only Bhaiya will come with our dinner and you can come in the morning. No, I can eat fruits, I retorted slowly. For you, proper meal will come, Ma. Don't worry, she replied without making an eye contact. By the way, Bhabhi ji, if you want, you can come home with us. Papa, please. She ended all the dispute and forcibly sent both of them home. Then she sat with Shiv, read all the prescriptions, and then sent Shiv to bring medicines and herself pulled a stool near his bed and sat down. I lay silently on the other bed. There was no power to speak. I was awake for 2 nights. There was fatigue, there was tension. I didn't know when I napped. Mita woke me up to eat. Then only I could open my eyes. Samdiji could not have resisted. He himself had come with food. In return, Lado's reprimand had to be heard. They had also brought Shiv's food, but Meeta did not allow him to eat in the hospital. No, you will go home with Papa and come here only after giving your paper. Understood? But Bhabhi, here, he muttered. Don't worry about here. Here I am, Ma, Bhaiya, we all are here. Shiv murmured a lot, but at last he had to leave. Nareshji went downstairs to bid them goodbye. Meeta asked him for a pan for me. Today, the entire day went without a pan. But I could not remember. I don't know how Meeta had come to know that I would definitely be resisting after eating. After eating, she made my bed, then go to the bathroom, wash all the plates and glasses, boil the milk once again, and started preparing to sleep. Bhaiya, I'll take a nap by 12 o'clock. Then I'll be back on duty. After that, you can sleep all night, she said, and made a hand pillow in the armchair and lay down. Nareshji sat down by pulling a chair near the bed. Without disturbing my comfort, both the brothers and sisters were ready to do night duty. How did I feel? I cannot describe it in words. Meeta, I called in a soft voice. Bhaiya will lie down in the bed. You come here and lie down beside me. You have been standing all day long. I don't know if there was anything in my voice or she didn't want to protest. She came quietly and lay down beside me. If you go to sleep, wake me up, Bhaiya, she said and closed her eyes. Nareshji moved the armchair near the bed and lay down in it. I looked at Meeta. I don't know why, on seeing her reminded me of my own daughter Savita. She has become a mother of 2 children, but still, sometimes childhood rides on her. There is a temptation to lie down near the mother. In those moments, she becomes little Savi, this little girl lying beside me. Sometimes it would be like that too for her. In whose lap would she hide her face? She has an elder sister, but she is so far across the 7 seas. Her Bhabhi, she is a girl herself now. She was lying with her back towards me. Taking off the salwar suit, she put on a nightie. She looked like a child in that dress. Whispering with a furious pounding all day long, her face now looked like that of an innocent child. A fever of love rose in my mind. Immediately there was a desire to hug her, but hesitantly I just kept stroking her back, her hair. Unaware of the point of my affection, she lay like that still. Suddenly my fingers touched her eyelids. They were wet. What happened, beta? I asked lovingly. She said nothing, just as if she clenched her lips vigorously to stop crying. Are you worried about your father? But the doctor was saying he is absolutely fine. The operation has gone very well. He will be able to sit in a day or 2. And that's what you were saying, isn't it? I also got suspicious while saying this. She turned around. She kept looking at me for a few moments. Then, hiding her face in my chest, she sobbed and said, First tell me, why didn't you inform us? Papa got so sick and no one even remembered me? That's it. Putting myself in the dock, I was asking again and again, how can I forget her? How did I forget my daughter? Dear friends, this was the end of the story. Please stay tuned for another such stories. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Your little help means a lot. Thank you.